Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivraja Joy Ashtottara Shatashi Srimad Svangai Sesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Okay, so Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 24, chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. We're on text 43. So if you could just repeat after me, please. Shakti Traya Sametaya Mudushe Ahankrita Atmane Chetaha Akuti Rupaya Namaha Vachaha Vibhutaye Shakti Traya Sametaya Midushe Hankritatmane Chitta Akuti Rupaya Namo Vacho Vibhutaye Shakti Traya Sametaya Midushe Hankritatmane Chitta Akuti Rupaya Namo Vacho Vibhutaye Shakti Traya Sametaya Midushe Hankritatmane Cheta Akuti Rupaya Namo Vacho Vibhutaye. Like to chant? Shaktitraya. Three kinds of energies. Sametaya, unto the reservoir. Midushe, unto Rudra. Ahankita Atmane, the source of egotism. Chetaha, knowledge. Akuti, eagerness to work. Rupaya, unto the form of. Namaha, my obeisances. Vachaha, unto the sound. Vibhutaye, unto the different types of opulences. Translation. My dear Lord, you are the supreme controller of the worker, sense activities, and results of sense activities, karma. Therefore, you are the controller of the body, mind, and senses. You are also the supreme controller of egotism, known as Rudra. You are the source of knowledge and the activities of the Vedic injunctions. Purport. Everyone acts under the dictation of the ego. Therefore, Lord Shiva is trying to purify false egotism through the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Lord Shiva, Rudra, is himself the controller of egotism, he indirectly wants to be purified by the mercy of the Lord so that his real egotism can be awakened. Of course, Lord Rudra is always spiritually awake, but for our benefit he is praying in this way. For the impersonalist, pure egotism is aham brahmasmi. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. But in its actual position, the spirit soul has devotional activities to perform. Therefore, Lord Shiva prays to be engaged both in mind and in action in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord according to the direction of the Vedas. This is the process for purifying false egotism. Chetaha means knowledge. Without perfect knowledge, one cannot act perfectly. The real source of knowledge is the vachaha, or sound vibration, given by the Vedic instructions. Here the word vachaha, or liberation, or vibration means the Vedic vibration. The origin of creation is sound vibration, and if the sound vibration is clear and purified, perfect knowledge and perfect activities actually become manifest. This is enacted by the chanting of the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus Lord Shiva is praying again and again for the purification of body, mind, and activities through the purification of knowledge and action under the pure direction of the Vedas. Lord Shiva prays to the Supreme Personality of Godhead so that his mind, senses, and words will all turn toward devotional activities only. me. Om Ganitamirandasya Gananjana Shilakaya Chakshulanmaditamena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Akam Karitavachalam Bangam Langate Girim Yakipatamaham Vandeshi Gurunditanam Vanchaka Bishta Kripasandaveva Chapatitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Ramanamaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Brahmanityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. All right, read the translation again. My dear Lord, you are the supreme controller of the worker, sense activities, and results of sense activities, karma. Therefore, you are the controller of the body, mind, and senses. You are also the supreme controller of egotism, known as Rudra. You are the source of knowledge and activities of the Vedic injunctions. Excuse me. So, Prabhupada says in the purport here, or writes in the purport that one second. The real source of knowledge is the vacha, or sound vibration given by the Vedic instructions. Here the word vacha, or vibration, means a Vedic vibration. So, and he says that by origin of creation is sound vibration. If the sound vibration is clear and purified, perfect knowledge and perfect activities actually become manifest. Therefore, Lord Shiva prays to be engaged both in the mind and action in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord according to the directions of the Vedas. Looking for a particular point, Prabhupada talks about perfect. You see that anywhere, Javita Prabhu?
Yeah, perfect. Why would you clear purified, perfect knowledge, and perfect activities actually manifest? Right before our
Mm-hmm.
All in the creation sound vibration.
Yeah. So the idea is that in order to have perfect activities, we have to have knowledge. We say perfect knowledge. So if we're acting on the basis of perfect knowledge or Vedic knowledge, then you could say that we have a chance of performing perfect activities, or activities that are in line with devotional service, devotional scriptures, the Vedas. So this idea of following the Vedas, you could say just by following the logical progression of, or you could say the logical, point by point points, it kicks out speculation. And therefore Rupa Goswami is saying, Shuti Smriti Pranadi Pranchuratra Vidim Vina. Yeah. That devotional service should be performed according to the regulations of the scriptures, the Shrutis, the Smritis, the different scriptures. And if they're not performed according to the regulative principles laid out in the scriptures, it is simply a disturbance in society, nuisance. So Rupa Goswami quotes this verse, and the idea is that what is he trying to communicate there? Or you could say one angle of it, what he's trying to communicate is that we should follow the Vedic instructions how to engage in devotional service. There's a way to engage in devotional service. In other words, there's a way to live, to plan our lives in such a way whereas we could become more and more Krishna conscious. And that planning our lives, it's actually our responsibility. Of course, when you first join, everybody here, probably more or less, had some type of bhakta leader, in which the bhakta leader would engage you in all different types of service, and make sure you're not spacing out, and make sure you're not doing so many things, and engaging you a certain way and not engaging in another way. But as time goes on, especially as time goes on and on and on and on and on, you're not going to have a bhakti leader. Oh, you do this, do this, do this. In many ways, it's expected. You or we have to engage or plan our lives in such a way as we make the most progress. Now, of course, some devotees, they have this idea of life coach. You have a life coach, which I think Vijay Prabhu was bringing up. So in ISKCON nowadays, they have life coaches, right? That's what you're saying. You're saying Vaisheshika Prabhu has a life coach. So we're not... He did, I don't know if he still... But he did in the past. So, okay, if you have a life coach, then maybe it's kind of like a bhakti leader. They could try to help you out in many ways. But a lot of times people don't have life coaches. So in many ways, Krishna, he leaves it up to us. That is part of our free will. That he gives us the free will. Okay, you want to use your time this way, you want to use your time that way. And that is an aspect of, again, like I think we were discussing a few days ago, that's aspect of Krishna's being perfect. That he's the perfect, supremely perfect person, and he knows how to have a perfect relationship. And part of having a perfect relationship is that you give the other person an opportunity to express their free will in different ways. So, okay, if you want to love me, if you want to serve me, okay, I'm here. I could reciprocate with you, and if you don't, then okay, do your own thing. So yeah, the devotional service has to be performed according to the rules and regulations of Scripture, and that actually makes things easy. It actually makes things easy. Krishna consciousness should be easy. And in many ways it is easy. But a lot of the times people, or devotees, practitioners, they make it difficult. Devotional service is very difficult. And they make it difficult because there's too much speculation going on. And difficult means that they find it hard to be Krishna conscious, they find it hard to be happy in Krishna consciousness, or they find it just something about it's difficult, or just making progress is difficult. But if one just follows, then it's it's easy, anyways. Just like, for example, we have Ayurveda. There's a scripture out there. There's books out there that it's authentic. It's a science. It's okay, you have a certain body type, you eat this way, you don't eat this way, you do this, you don't do this, and that will help you be healthy. But there's no need to speculate. Like, people, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll get tapioca. This is just kind of a random example, but I'll get tapioca powder, and I'll get pomegranate powder, and I'll get almond milk, and I'll get bitter melon, right? And kale, and I'll mix it all together. I'll cook it up, and I'll have a nice gruel. They call it a gruel. I don't know why they call it a gruel. Like in prison, you get like a nice gruel, like a slop of. Yeah. Inedible, but you have to eat it because that's all there is. That's like in prison. I was talking to someone who spent some time in jail recently. I was talking to them, and it's actually true. They say it's it's kind of like a funny thing. Like you go to jail and you sit down and you have your piece of cake and your whatever, a few pieces of peach and whatever else, probably other nasty stuff. It's all nasty, but so you're sitting there and. They were telling me how when they went there, somebody asked, "Hey, you gonna eat that?" It was like a comment. You gonna eat that? So yeah. But back to about speculating all these things, and then you cook up this gruel, and then you drink a glass of orange juice, and it's like, oh great, yeah, I'm gonna be healthy, right? Now, there's a science, Ayurveda, and Prabhupada also. We should also remember that Prabhupada himself was he knew about Ayurveda, and he knew about health. And actually, Prahladananda Swami, health minister of ISKCON, he wrote a book recently. I hope this meets you in good health. He has a bunch of quotes from Prabhupada, some articles he wrote. So, Prabhupada said, just have rice and dal and chapatis and sabji, of course, more or less healthy, but tasty and nice, offered to Krishna. And you have to speculate, come up with all these things. Or sometimes, okay, what I'll do, another example, I'll sleep for 2 hours at nighttime, and I'll sleep for 5 hours during the day, right? It's like, well, Prabhupada just said you sleep, 6 hours at night, and then 1 hour if you need during the day, and I've seen devotees do this. I've seen brahmacharis do this. They go to sleep really late and wake up early, and then they're wondering why they're moody. They're wondering why they're Modi. Not Modi like the president but they're wondering why they're Modi, and the mode's material nature. It's like not enough sleep. If you don't sleep too much, right, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little, don't eat too much, don't eat too little. This helps. Or we'll have a few more. Chanting one's rounds. I mean, people, okay, I'll chant my rounds. Whatever, devotees have clickers or something, but specifically, they have a clicker, and I'm going to go hit the waves, go out and surf, and then I'll have my clicker, while I'm surfing, I'll be click, click, Hare Krishna, click, click. I don't know if anyone's ever done that, but I thought about it. I'm not going to do it. But that's a speculation. Just chant in front of Tulsi. I mean, the best is to chant in front of Tulsi in the morning, at least an hour, chant in front of Tulsi or more. And Prabhupada recommends that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. People watch TV and chant their rounds or something, Drive a car. So, anyways, you could go on and on and on, so many. And, of course, this may seem kind of like, very, kind of extreme or something, but if we really analyze, sometimes devotees are kind of extreme. And people are also extreme. So you could say there's like extreme speculation going on. And it makes things difficult, actually. And people, they can't really be happy on those type of programs because it's not according to the rules and regulations of the scriptures, Shruti, Smriti, Prana, Adi. So therefore, a simple way is just to follow, but that also requires that we give up this false egotism. This false egotism means that, hey, well, I could figure things out. I could figure things out. But that wanting to figure things out, it's like we're figuring things out that don't need to be figured out. They've already been figured out. It's like they have that saying, right? Don't reinvent the wheel. It's already been invented. If we want to use our mental powers for something, we should just use our mental powers. How can I distribute more books? How can I distribute volley upon volley of books? Or how can I, whatever? How can I plant some nice flower trees, right? Around the property, offer them to Krishna, just like we're getting some nice, was it gardenias? Yeah, those are really good flowers. Those are, yeah. So we could use our intelligence, our mental powers to try to figure things out that need to be figured out. How to spread Krishna consciousness, how to distribute more books, how to do more harinam, how to help people, and not waste our mental energy on other things. Or else we start to become like conscious of other things, not Krishna conscious. It's like one devotee. Sorry to bring it up, but one devotee, he would really get absorbed in what is it called? The flying planes and the chemtrails, chemical trails. Yeah, the plane. If you look, everybody's. And we're not going to get into all true, not true, all that type. But people suspect, people believe. There's a theory that the government is having planes, and their chemtrails are falling down and they're poisoning us. Right now, this person, every time he would see, and he would really get worked up, and then it became like your Krishna conscious goes out the window and you're chemtrail conscious. You're just. And so many things are like that. It could. Did we get him an umbrella? No, we didn't get him an umbrella. Hijack. Consciousness becomes hijacked. So therefore, speculation has to be given up, or else, one finds oneself in just weird places that they don't want to be, or that they shouldn't want to be. They may find themselves in Dutchland with a Dutch woman, and with some, in illusion, with little Krishna conscious there, but heavily, in the mode of passion. So, and there's, you could find yourself so many places due to this speculation. So, and therefore, we have Vedic instructions to follow. And it's not like, by following those regulations, we become free. We become free. We could become Goswamis. Like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana, all these great Goswamis. They wrote so many wonderful books. Prabhupada translated Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. And by following their instructions, they want us to become like them. Which, right? They're incomplete. They're experiencing the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. They're experiencing Krishna. It's a great boon. And if we just don't follow their instructions, we neglect, speculate, then we can't become like them. How do we become like them if we're not following them, their instructions? We can't. And you could say that's the goal, to be, of course, who could become like them, but to somehow or other at least follow them and be in their company. That's what we want. And therefore we have Vedic instructions, but aside from Vedic instructions, we have persons who deliver Vedic instructions. Therefore, Prabhupada instituted leadership roles within ISKCON. Why? Because people need to be led, and people need to be led in the right way. And therefore, Prabhupada, right, GBCs, Governing Body Commissioner, sannyasis, senior devotees, temple presidents, Brahmins. Sometimes people think, we have of course, GBCs and sannyasis and temple presidents and Prabhupada Institute, important. But also Brahmins, they're there. Just because, they may not have a big position and managerial position or something, but they're Brahmins. Like that means they have knowledge. That means they should have knowledge. They should have the ability to guide. So in this way, Prabhupada created all these personalities to guide people in the right direction. And Diksha Gurus, right, initiating spiritual Shiksha Gurus, which in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's described in Adi Leela. And specifically Shiksha Gurus, because a lot of the times actually Shiksha Gurus are the ones that are a lot of the times really involved. I mean, Diksha Gurus are also involved in, disciples' lives and so on. But largely, Shiksha Gurus are involved in disciples' lives. And a lot of the times, the Diksha Gurus, they arrange it like that. That, of course, you have so many disciples. You have some of your senior disciples, or you have other Shiksha Gurus help take care of the disciples. And that means that Shiksha means instruction, so they're giving instruction to us. But there's instructions that are, a lot of the times instructions, especially in Krishna consciousness, they're not so black and white, and they're not so easily instituted, they're not so easily implemented all the time. In other words, it's very nuanced. Like Srila Prabhupada, for example, Harinam Sankirtan, that is our life, that is our, we go out on Harinam all throughout the world. As Vijay Prabhu was saying the other day, nicely, he was saying that we're known for that throughout the world. We're the persons who go out and we chant and we sing and we dance, and that's what we're known for. And he had some woman come up to him to his book table. He was at some place, and she said, "Oh, I've traveled all throughout the world. I've seen you guys everywhere, and you're the happiest people." So that's there. But interesting enough, this is an example. Devotees went to India and in the 70s and to help with the Bombay temple, build it, and everybody knows Prabhupada brought devotees to India. And when the devotees went to Bombay, Prabhupada said they were going on Harinam, chanting, dancing, ecstasy, kartals and mridanga, and really, fired up, experiencing the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. And then eventually Prabhupada said, "Stop the Harinam." Said, "Stop the Harinam." He said, "Oh, it's a Harinam, Sankirtan movement. We need to stop the Harinam." Prabhupada, that's what he did. He stopped the Harinam. And then he said, he stopped it in India. Stopped it in India. But he didn't stop it all over the world. It went on in other places in the world. He said, "Stop it in India." And he said that if they'll see us as beggars, just out there, chanting, begging. And he said, now we're going to do life membership. So he had devotees going out and making life members, knocking on their doors, selling them books. It's a whole thing, life membership. And some devotees, they really had a hard time with this. They went to Prabhupada, they complained, "Oh, Prabhupada, we're just like businessmen. We want to go back to America and, Harinam and preach." And Prabhupada would say, "Do you want to make advancement? This is what your spiritual master wants." And then they're actually fighting with Prabhupada, arguing back and forth. And eventually Prabhupada, because they were so determined to go back to America, Prabhupada said, "Okay, fine." This is what he said. You do any damn thing you want. Just chant 16 rounds and follow the 4 regular principles and do any damn thing you want. That's what he ended up. But the point is, he stopped Harinam. So that's an example that where in his books it's saying do Harinam, do Harinam, do Harinam, do Harinam, but he stopped it. So it's an instruction that it's not black and white. Or for example, Prabhupada would say wine. He told one wino that if you drink this taste of, you should think, oh, this is the taste of Krishna. Now this isn't our general preaching. We don't go out and PB and people at the bars and say, "Yeah, just think it's Krishna." But Prabhupada did it. Or so an instructions need to be or are sometimes altered due to time, place, circumstance. And therefore we have leadership, therefore we have Shiksha Gurus who help us with that. And things are different, places are different. Just like, for example, in Chaupati, in India. The Brahmachari ashram there, I don't know how many brahmacharis they have, 300, 400, something like that. About 100, okay, 100. So, as far as I heard, that everybody who joins the ashram is required to have a college degree. Is it? That's what I heard, yeah. Now which brahmachari has a college degree here? Nobody. Now, also the brahmacharis are required to have some work experience. I don't know. I think that's what I heard. A few years of work experience, 1 or 2 years of work experience, and in many, this makes sense in many ways. One that, you have some work experience and you know how to work, you know how to, do something, not just wanted to, But who has here 1 or 2 years of work experience? Maybe somebody. You? Maybe? Maybe not. Okay. So in other words, what goes on in this particular temple, Chaupati, India, that's not the standard here. And if it was the standard here, we wouldn't have any brahmacharis. I worked for 1 year, I think. I don't have a college. I don't have a degree though. So how do we supposed to figure things out? Therefore, we have GBC. Therefore, we have sannyasis. Therefore, we have temple presidents. Therefore, we have shiksha gurus who know the temple. There's a certain mood. There's a certain way things go on, and in this way, we follow. So the conclusion is by following the Vedic instructions, which also means following the persons who are propounding the Vedic instructions and following them, then we're able to get rid of this false egotism. We're able to get rid of this false thing, and we're established as I'm a servant of Krishna. I'm a blissful servant of Krishna. And we should also try to, which entails kicking out the speculation, which also entails kicking out speculation means to communicate, to plan, to organize, to have the movement go on in working with each other, cooperating with each other, to see what works. And also, as Prabhupada said, right, the activity is judged by its fruit. So, all right. So does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay.
Just to fill out the example, because joining ISKCON in India is quite loud. It's often it's a step up as far as material comfort.
Yes.
People join ISKCON to be comfortable.
Yeah.
That doesn't really happen in the West. It's an austerity actually to live as a devotee. So as one of to keep the temple from becoming, as Prabhupada called, the free hotel.
Yeah.
So, I put in my 6 hours, do some simple service, and they fill my belly, and I got a roof over my head.
3 hots and a cot.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons they want people to go to college, because then it shows that they've got some determination, and it weeds out the people who are just there for a free lunch. Another reason for the work experience is because in India it's a very strong cultural thing that that the parents depend on the children for maintenance. That my children are going to take care of me, and if the devotees, so they have the devotees work for a year or two, and then just give all that money to the parents. They live in the ashram and they give all. It's like paying their duty to their parents. Okay, here's what it is. Here's some money, and that will help you in your senior years or whatever it is. Whereas in America, they don't really count on the kids.
Yes.
So it's called, like you're saying. I'm confirming your point.
Yeah.
It's according to culture, but just so the devotees know the reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a big step up in India. In a lot of cases, it's just thinking about the Juhu temple, for example. It's a palace and comfortable, and you got everything taken care of. And you might be struggling there in Mumbai, city, trying to just working hard. Yeah, watching them.
In India, to get a visa to come to America. That's another thing.
Yeah, but this also not being like a free, it's like a hotel or something. I was hearing recently that devotees they were collecting Lakshmi for the money for the Juhu temple to build it before it was built, and it was a historic point. So, Tamal Krishna Goswami was there, my spiritual master, Chutananda, a few other devotees, and somehow or other, what they did is during this whole law case and this and that, they decided to rent an apartment in the city because it was closer to the city and they could go out and collect and everything. So that's what they did. They started going out in the evenings and they'd have a program and sing some bhajans, this and that, make some life members. They would give donations, and then we'd get back really late, and then they would sleep in. And they weren't really having much of a program in the morning. They weren't having much of a program in the morning. And then eventually Prabhupada came. He came to the apartment, and he said, "Oh, why aren't you having a program? And why are you sleeping in? And you're just what are you doing here? You're just eating and sleeping." And then he said, "This isn't the idea. This is if you do this, this will be transcendental cheating, transcendental trickery. Oh, we go out, we collect, and we. He said this will be a transcendental hotel." So he said, "This isn't the idea," and he probably was really on their case. I mean, I'm just giving a kind of brief little, but probably was really on their case. And then, and eventually Prabhupada said, "Oh, I think you should just go back to the temple." And the reason he gave, he said, "Oh, deity worship, it keeps one's regulated, it keeps one's clean. You could attend the program, you could do the whole thing, and keeps one on the path." So therefore, he recommended both, right? Deity worship and preaching keep you. So, all right. Does anybody have any other last comment?
Online, Mahatma Devi Dasi says, "Good morning to all the assembled devotees of Lord Srila Prabhupada. Developing a self-sufficiency center here, so yeah, my mind is concentrated in many issues to continue the project. And one might think, is this really Krishna consciousness? But as long as the end result is offered to the Lord and the spiritual master, then we can be purified by the efforts put on this kind of projects." She said, I imagine so, but I don't know.
I think Javita Prabhu has something. You have something, Javita Prabhu? Oh, okay. All right. Untitled Chapter Ki Jai.